Hey everyone, my name is Doug. I'm a part of the install team here at Adventure Wagon. Today we're going to show you how to install a MaxxAir fan into a Sprinter 144. I know it might seem like a daunting task cutting a hole in the top of your van, but I promise that after you watch this video, you're going to feel comfortable enough to do so at home. So let's get into the tools that you're going to need for this installation. So you're going to need a Sharpie, a deburring tool, an auto punch, some sort of centering punch. You need a pair of scissors, a box knife or a razor blade. You're gonna need a step bit, a 3/32 drill bit, and a 3/8 drill bit. You're also gonna need some channel locks, some extra drill bits, and some masking tape. You're also gonna need something to clean the surfaces, so you need acetone and alcohol. And for tools, you're gonna need a drill, a jigsaw, a grinder, and a caulking gun. And the last thing that you're gonna need are some paper towels. Now that you have everything that you need, let's get started.
So hopping in the van to find the placement of the front fan, we're going to be working out of the second bay back with this circle here. First thing we want to do is make a centering mark based off the seams on both sides of the rib so we know where to place our template. Once you made your centering mark and verified that it's in the middle of the rib, you can hold up your template, aligning the notch in the front with the line that we just made. Make sure that the flange of the template is meeting up with the flange of the rib like you see in the video, not overlapping.
And then we're going to mark all four corners that we're going to be drilling.
After you made your marks, you can take an auto punch and make a dimple in the sheet metal for the drill bit. You'll want to inset this by approximately the radius of the drill bit. It doesn't have to be exact, but inward from that corner a little bit.
After you've made your marks with your auto punch, we're going to drill through with our 3/8" drill bit. Just make sure you wear safety glasses. Be careful about any falling metal flakes. They can be really hot. And you're going to repeat the same process on the other fan.
For the 144 rear fan placement, we're going to be going in the 5th ceiling bay back from the front of the van. To position the rear fan template, you'll align the notch in the front with the mark that we just made. Instead of butting up the flange of the template to the flange on the rib, you'll flip the template around and overlap them. At this point, you can go ahead and mark your corners again. After you've made your marks, you can take your auto punch and make a dimple where we're going to be drilling, inset from the corner like we did before, and go ahead and drill your holes.
After you've made your holes, we're going to climb on top of the van now. You can lay down a platform of some sort or a board of wood if you'd like to avoid denting the roof in any way. And then we're going to deburr the holes that you just made. So once you've deburred your holes, we're going to lay down some tape connecting all four corners so we have a square to cut out. The inside of the tape should be a 14 by 14 inch square. Then we're going to take our jigsaw and cut along the straight lines that we just made. As you're making the final cut, you could either hold this piece or you can throw some pieces of tape under it to keep it from falling inside the van. So once you've cut your piece out, we're going to take a grinder and we're going to grind away any excess steel that's still left. The edges should be flush with the tape at this point. So once you've ground down your edges smooth and there's no excess steel there, you can go ahead and remove the tape. Then we're going to deburr the edges that we just ground down. At this point, you can go ahead and clean up any metal debris that's left on the roof. Once the roof is clear, we're going to take our acetone and give everything a good wipe down so we have a clean surface to work with. So now we're going to grab our fan ring and we're going to use that as a template to mark where we're going to be drilling our holes for the screws. Make sure you use an auto punch here so your drill bit stays centered.
At this point, you'll want to help it to come hold this wooden ring in the van. If you're by yourself, you can also use a couple wood clamps to hold it in place.
We're going to start by installing only 2 screws in the front and the back part of the bezel to hold it in place while we drill the rest of the holes out.
Begin by making a pilot hole in the front and rearmost edge of the fan bezel. Then you can install your screws. You don't need to make these too tight, just tight enough to hold things in place while we drill the rest of the holes out.
Once you have your fan bezel down with 2 screws, you're going to go ahead and drill the rest of your pilot holes. Make sure you use the centering punch on all of these too.
And go ahead and drill your holes.
Once all of your pilot holes have been made, you can remove the fan bezel, and we're going to want to clean up all the metal shavings that are underneath it now. Now we're going to take our fan bezel and get it ready for installation. Take your isopropyl alcohol and give the fan bezel a good wipe down and make sure you get all the dust off of it.
And once the fan bezel is clean, then you can clean the surface of the van with acetone. Make sure that when you're cleaning everything that you don't use acetone on the fan bezel, you only want to use isopropyl on the plastic. One tip I have is before you install the fan bezel, you're going to want to pull up the spring clips just a little bit so you can see kind of a half moon through that hole. It's going to help when you actually set the fan unit in, since you can't really get a good grip on it to push it down. It'll help put the screws in. Once you've pulled the spring clips up just a little bit, then you can flip the fan bezel over, make sure the bottom side is clean, and we're going to start applying our butyl. The most important part as you're laying the butyl down is to make sure that you have seamless corners. After you've applied butyl to the fan ring, then we're going to give the van a final wipe down with acetone and apply our anti-rust. Let the anti-rust dry and then stick the fan bezel down, making sure that the spring clips are on the sides. Once you've stuck the fan bezel down, press all around the flange to ensure you get a good seal between the butyl and the van. After your bezel's stuck down and your helper is holding the wood ring inside, we can go ahead and start installing the screws, beginning with the 2 that we removed earlier, and then we'll work in a crisscross pattern until all of them are in. Just a quick note here, when you're installing the screws, make sure you don't over tighten them, as that can lead to cracking in the bezel. You want to install them snug and evenly so it puts even pressure on that butyl seal. After installing all the screws is a good stopping point, as the butyl needs to off-gas overnight and also allow any other little bubbles to work themselves out. If you lay down the lap seal over this right away, then you'll end up with bubbles in it as the butyl off-gases overnight. Picking up the next day, all we have to do is lay down our lap sealant. To begin with this, we're just going to make sure we have a nice clean surface. We're going to give everything a final wipe down with isopropyl alcohol at this point. Make sure you get all the dust off the fan ring and van body. Next up, we're going to apply our self-leveling glue. To start, we're going to lay down some masking tape to create a nice square border for our self-leveling glue. This will create some nice clean edges when we pull it up at the end. Give yourself about an inch border around the fan ring when you're laying the masking tape. Next, we're going to take our caulking gun and apply our self-leveling glue around the fan bezel. When applying the self-leveling glue, we like to lay 3 even beads around the fan bezel. In the next step, we're going to level this by hand. So now you're going to take your paper towels, fold one up into a little square, and start spreading the lap sealant out evenly. Our goal here is just to make sure that our sealant is spread evenly, all of our screws are covered, and there's no gaps around the fan bezel. After you've gone around the whole ring with some paper towels and smoothed it out, take a look and make sure that there's no gaps or any sort of air bubbles that you created. Any of those you can smooth out, and then we're going to go through and add lap sealant over any of the exposed screw heads. Once the self-leveling glue is applied, make sure to take off the tape before it sets. After we remove the tape, we're going to let this sit overnight and cure. After about 24 hours, or when the glue is cured, we're going to install our fan. To begin, we're going to open the fan to get access to the screw holes. Before we install the fan, we want to take a look and make sure that the wiring isn't in the way of this channel here. If you're having trouble getting the fan to seat properly in the bezel, it's probably because the wires are in the way of this channel here. Then you can place the fan onto the bezel. Then install the 4 screws securing the fan.
Now that we're done on top of the van, we're gonna move inside to connect our wires. Inside the van with an Adventure Wagon wiring harness, you're gonna wanna find your fan 1 or fan 2 leads to connect. Once we've located our fan leads inside the van, we're gonna connect it to the fan using butt connectors. Go ahead and make your connections at this point. Make sure to pay attention to the wiring coming from the fan. It can be a little confusing. The black wire is the positive. After you connected your wires, you should be good to go.
And that's it for the installation of a MaxxAir fan in your Sprinter 144. If you have any other questions or you need any additional guidance, give us a call or send us an email. And thank you for watching.